Hey, in the last video, I told you that you can put functions into variables. So let's look at what that would look like. So let's create a function. Um, and we'll just call this function add two numbers. And we'll take in a num1 and a num2. We'll do some work. We'll say let results equal num1 plus num2. And then we'll give some output. So we'll return num1 plus num2. Okay, or sorry, we'll return the result. There's no point in doing the work twice. So this entire thing could be simplified to just saying return num1 plus num2, but I like to have it split onto two lines because it makes it makes it easier to show things in the debugger. So we've created a function. It takes two pieces of input, it does some work, and then it gives some output. Now let's create a variable. We'll create a variable called my var, and we'll set it equal to a string. Hello. Okay, so that's how you set a variable equal to a string. Let's create another variable and set it equal to a number. And that's how you set it equal to a number. Let's create another variable and let's set it equal to a Boolean. Um, okay, well, now I'm going to create another variable and say, let my function equal, and then I'm going to say set it equal to add two numbers. Okay, notice something different about the syntax. If I wanted the result of adding the two numbers, then I could say let result equal add two numbers, 1 and 2. Notice I put parentheses. When I put parentheses, I'm saying run the function, give me the result. Here I'm saying don't run the function, just set my variable equal to that function. So that means that on this line, I could say let result2 equal my function and call it and give it 2 and 3. Okay, let's save this and let's just go see this in action. So let's go live. Okay, we're going to inspect the page and let's put a breakpoint on line 15. Okay, we'll reload our page. So we're about to create a variable called hello. Cool, we've created the variable. If we hover over my var, it stores hello. We've created our others. If we look at my num, it stores 10. If we look at my bool, it stores true. So we're about to set my function equal to add two numbers. Add two numbers, if you hover over it, it says that's a function that that takes two inputs, does some work, and gives some output. If we hit next, now if we hover over my function, it says that's a function that takes two pieces of input, does some work, and gives some output. Now we're going to call the function. So we're saying let result equal add two numbers, 1 and 2. So if we hit next, it jumps up to add two numbers. Num1 is the 1 we passed in. Num2 is the 2 we passed in. If we add those together, we get 3. So if we hover over result, we get 3, and we're about to return 3 back to the program. And we return it back to the program. Result is now 3. Now we're about to call result2, and we're setting it equal to my function. Well, what is my function? My function is a variable. And what is it storing? It's storing the function called add two numbers. So we're about to jump up to that function. So we'll hit next, and we jump up to that function. Num1 is the 2 that we passed in. Num2 is the 3 that we passed in. And so now we can take those two numbers together, add them, the result is 5, and we can return them to the main program. And now if we hover over result 2, we can see the result is 5. So why is this important? And why did I take the time to show you this? Why didn't I just call my function in the first place if I was just going to rename it a few lines later? Well, what I'm trying to show you is that a variable can hold a function. And if a variable can hold a function, it lets us do some pretty cool things.